Well, if you or someone you know owns a truck, then you'll want to pay close attention to this next story. Trucks have long been a target for thieves, but just because you have a factory alarm doesn't mean you're in the clear. It's something our Matt Howerton recently found out.
This is my 2020 Chevrolet Silverado, one of the most popular trucks in Texas and one of the most targeted by thieves. Last year, they tried to steal mine. And if it weren't for an anti-theft device that I personally installed beforehand, this bad boy would be gone. I got lucky. But it's how the bad guys left my truck after their attempted theft that got me asking questions, and it all starts with the horn. Now, before I continue, I have to explain to you how truck thefts go down. It's usually in two different ways. Watch this.
This is a relay theft. Thieves use high-tech computer software to amplify the signal of your fob, and if your truck or vehicle is nearby, it makes it think you're close with the keys, allowing the bad guys to unlock and even start up your wheels and drive off.
But the most common maneuver is to gain access to the cab in whatever way possible and get access to the vehicle's onboard diagnostic port and reprogram the software and then steal the truck. If you have access to this and a device to clone a brand new key, thieves can steal your truck like that. But back to the horn. To do any of this, you gotta break into the cab, and that usually should trigger the factory alarm. But mine never went off. Hop in, I'll tell you why. This person you're about to hear from, Tanner is his name, and the way that thieves took his truck, similar way they tried to take mine.
I was just gonna go get some breakfast and parking spot was empty.
Bragg had a 2022 GMC Sierra, and thieves had it in their sights months before.
I went out in the garage and I saw them, and as soon as they saw me, they just bolted and ran.
The crew dropping a diagnostic tool that mechanics use to program new keys to a vehicle. The key cylinder punched out so the bad guys could get in.
Somebody pulled out in front of me and I went to honk at them, and then the horn didn't work.
The wiring had been ripped. It was only a matter of time until the thieves came back and got what they wanted.
Then I talked to the police about it again, and they're like, yeah, that's how they're doing it.
The wiring to my horn was also ripped. The key cylinder was also punched. The only thing that kept thieves from taking my truck, this industrial-sized chain that I braid from the steering wheel to the brake pedal column and lock every single night. And think about it. Thieves hate noise. They hate time. And if you disable the horn, you don't bring any attention to yourself when you're stealing a truck.
Here's a video a truck owner out of Houston posted to TikTok this summer. The thieves are seen near the front of his grill, ripping the horn, and then they get access to the cab. Notice how the alarm lights are flashing, but you can't hear anything? Easy job. They're gone in a few minutes.
Let's see here.
Yeah, it's right up here.
After Bragg's truck was stolen, it ended up in California. The thieves had duped a buyer online who had to give up the truck and was out tens of thousands of dollars in cash.
So I didn't actually end up with the worst part of the deal, somebody else did.
All right, now let's see if Gary's in his shop. Looking for a fix brought me to Mitchell Automotive, and we found a pretty nice solution, minus parts and labor.
We had a customer, his car got stolen in Dallas, and he recovered it himself, actually, and said, hey, my horn doesn't work.
Jeremy Rattan has 21 years as a mechanic at various dealerships.
Copy the frequency off of it, and then program it to this one.
He says popular trucks like GMCs, Dodge Rams, F-150s, Silverados all have their horns.
It's right there, front and center horns.
Right behind the grill at the front. It makes it easier for thieves to grab and disable.
I can put my actual hand in there and pull the wiring itself.
Exactly.
I don't need a tool at all.
But it didn't used to be like this.
Horns for years were hidden up in behind the headlights and things like that. For some reason, they've recently made the wiring where it's right on the front of the grill.
Gary Mitchell, Jeremy's boss.
These guys are taking hooks or whatever they can and just get in there yanking that wire.
He reconnected my horn and hid it behind the headlight of my truck for less than $200.
You would think they would look at how they're stealing these cars and find better ways to prevent it.
All right, next stop, Chief Eddie Garcia, DPD.
In Dallas 2023, more than 18,000 vehicles were stolen, an all-time high.
They're being utilized to commit more crime, often violent crime.
Before taking a new job, former Chief Eddie Garcia told us thefts are declining in 2024, partly due to the department reporting stolen vehicles faster to the National Crime Information Center.
By utilizing flock cameras and ALPR around the city, but we need help from our car manufacturers as well. We need to work together to be smarter than the crooks.
And we did reach out to Stellantis, the makers behind the Dodge Ram, Ford, and also GM about this issue, but GM was really the only one that responded, saying, "We regularly work with law enforcement agencies to identify emerging theft methods that affect our products and make updates as needed to defend against them. We are aware of the method to disable the horn and are considering potential countermeasures, the details of which will not be shared for security reasons."
Now look, I know what you're thinking. Matt, if a thief wants to steal my truck, they will find a way to steal my truck. And look, I agree, but if you have a brand new truck, you should at least trust that the factory alarm is gonna deter a theft, and it's likely that your horn is near the front of your grill. And I know this is a very, very small part of a very big problem, but at least from one truck owner to another. Now you know.